Hi friends, it's Tracy from the Financial Freedom Diary, and I'm going to reconcile my budget in everydollar. I need to create a line item to represent my deposit from my cash envelopes from the month of June. So that'll be the first thing that I'm going to go in here and do. And if you look off to the right hand side, you'll see like my accounts and the transactions. And so I just clicked on that. Anything where the outline is in blue, that's a deposit. Anything that's in orange, that's a withdrawal from my primary checking account or savings account. I have 6 accounts in all. But this one, I think this app only can connect to one institution. I don't think it can do multiple, but I need to go back and double check that. Now I'm just adding a split to the first withdrawal that I made for the month of July. This is for my cash envelopes. So I can take one big amount and split it up into smaller amounts and then put in what each one of those buckets are to add up to what the total for the withdrawal was. And I can also do that on the flip side for when I'm making a deposit. Luckily this month I didn't have to do anything like that. I don't have anybody like my son paying me back for an iPhone. But all I'm doing now is putting the amounts into each line for my groceries, restaurant, household, laundry, and my personal money. And so I think Chrome had remembered some amounts, and so it's trying to guess for me. But I don't need that, and so I'm going to save that one. Now I'm going to drop down that interest into the interest line, which was only about 3 cents, which is pretty much what my primary checking account has. Now I'm making an adjustment for my rent. I actually paid $8.88. This is the last month that I'm going to get a discount on my rent, but I never budgeted like that. I always budget for the full amount, so that way I'm not surprised. And now I'm dropping down, I think that was $10.50 for merchandising. I believe that one was from Field Agent, which I don't have a video up for them yet, but I will have one for them in Observer coming soon. Now that was me dropping my car loan payment and my gas. And of course my kids went to highest gas station in the neighborhood. And this is for my renter's insurance. I budgeted $20 and it actually came to $23.24. And so I was just kind of highlighting that it was in the negative. And so I'm fixing that to reconcile that line item, dropping down my bank fees. And the next thing is iTunes, my storage. And I'm going to put that in with my subscriptions. And now I have, looks like I got another deposit. And that is from my cash envelopes from the month of June. So I dropped that in that slot. And the paid version, you can do this just drag and drop feature when you're on a computer. On a cell phone, you actually have to click on where it's supposed to go. It's really easy to work with. And that's why I like this app so much. I know when everything is actually clearing my account. I've never had any problems with everydollar. I think the learning curve at first was a little hard for me, but I had a free version then when I went to FPU. They gave this to you for like 3 months, and now it's like a year. Now that was the second time I went and got some gas, and this time I went to Walmart, unlike my kids. And that was one of my, I think that was Netflix that I dropped into the subscriptions. And the last thing that I'm about to drop is my deposit from PayPal, which is for the merchandising. And I had estimated about $150, and I actually made like $200 and something. So you'll see that now in the income section, I'm adjusting any of the amounts up there. And I have to manually key in the transfer, the $200 for my son, into the app. And so if you had the free version, that's all you'll do is just click on the plus sign and you can add a transaction. It's not really difficult, because on some parts to track my sinking funds and the other 4 accounts that I have to actually manually enter them. You'll see I put in my budget, my life insurance, my health insurance, And my gym membership, those actually come out of my paycheck. So I actually go in here and I manually key each one of those entries in. That's exactly how it will work if you had the free version of this tool. I could go either way. I think I really like the paid version, especially when I had a lot of debts that I was paying off all at once and I want to know if something actually cleared my account. This gave me visibility into it, and I didn't have to log into my bank account so many times a day to check and see if something processed. So the last thing I'm doing now, I'm just going through and checking everything, making sure everything is tallying up. And I know I got to go and adjust my PMP exam and my quarterly tax estimates. Since I made more than what I projected, I have to increase the amount of my tax estimates to be 25% of what I made. So I had to make that $51 to make sure I pay the correct amount. And do my 25% off the top. Don't want no problems with the IRS. And so all I'm doing now is just going through this one more time, checking everything, balancing out like the life insurance, because I always double check my check stubs to make sure that, if the company said they're going to cover something, that they actually did it. I don't like putting things in my budget and then find out something doesn't happen and then I didn't budget for it, or I spent the money on debt. Because once I apply my snowball payment, it's not like I can go back and say, hey, I need you to give me back $20 so I can cover this thing over here. I also keep a cushion in my checking account, which is about $100. Once I get everything settled for the month of July, I'll transfer my PMP exam fee over to my Capital One 360 account, because now I have a $405 to cover that total cost. And so I'm pretty stoked about that. And so I'm pretty much done here. I'm just making some minor corrections to what my budgeted column was so I can see at the very top what I'll have to left to make a last snowball payment at the very end of the month. And you never know what comes up, so I don't like making that payment too early in the month because something bad could happen. But thank you guys for watching. You have a super fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye.